because
right,
there's
I
just
owe
a
all
reference. I said,
that.
well, what's he gonna do? I said, well,
And so, yeah, there's
find
asking
out
price,
that, you know.
there's ask, and then there's,
I said, no, we got.
let's get this
I
thing
said,
moving.
This thing moved, and
So, we did that.
hopefully somebody will.
I said, why don't you? Cause see, that, he wants to, we got our shit.
It was under contract. So you have to go to the developer.
I'm now going to answer.
Starbucks about a little year ago, this.
Built just north of it too. They just built that one up on Dirksen and Stevenson. They put that one up.
Yeah.
It's the old Hojo. There we go.
Oh, God.
Right. Almost. She grabbed the gavel.
The chair will call the March 16, 2026 meeting of the City Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Redpath, can you please call the roll?
Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford. Here. Alderwoman Purchase. Alderwoman Netriano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Busher.
Present.
Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Clerk Redpath. The Civility Pledge. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. This evening, there are no proclamations or presentations, so we will go straight into the zoning agenda. The first item on the zoning agenda is docket number 2026-004 for the property located at 76 Yacht Club Road. The petitioners are Island Bay Yacht Club. Present zoning classification is R1 Single Family Residence District Section 155.016. The requested zoning relief is variance of Section 9 docks of the Land Use Plan for Lake Springfield to allow the extension of the docks A through E and the T pier to no more than 200 feet from the shoreline from the point known as the full pool elevation. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial, but the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the petition as submitted. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation from the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 8 voting yes, 1 voting present, and 1 absent. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-005 for the property located at 100 East Madison Street. The petitioners are First and Madison LLC, DBA Isringhausen Imports, Inc. Present zoning classification is I-1 Light Industrial District, Section 155.040. The requested zoning relief is variance of Section 155.320D and E, permitted accessory on-premises signs, to allow a sign without the required landscaping with ground cover with a minimum of 5-foot diameter directly around the base of the sign, and to allow a sign to be placed on the property with no setback from the east property line. The Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval. Concur with the Regional Planning Staff recommendation. The chair will now entertain a motion.
On behalf of Alderwoman Purchase, I move that we accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission recommendation.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation. Is there any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with, Alderman Cox?
Oh, well. I mean,
With
yes,
9
yes.
voting yes, none voting no. Thank you, Alderman. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-006 for the property located at 3200 Northfield Drive. The petitioners are AMM Springfield LLC. Present zoning classification is B2, General Business Service District, Section 155.034. The requested zoning relief is reclassification to B1, Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the Regional Planning Staff recommendation for approval. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept staff recommendations, please.
Microphone.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Regional Planning Staff recommendation. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, voting will now be open. All those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-007 for the property located at 910 South Grand Avenue West. The petitioners are Ambers LLC. Present zoning classification is S2, Community Shopping and Office District, Section 155.031. The requested zoning relief is a variance of Sections 155.061, Basic Yard Requirements, and 155.064, Required Front Yards in Party Residential Blocks related to the front yard setbacks requirement to allow the new addition north property line to continue at the existing building line of approximately 11 feet, and 155.114B, regulations for the location of off-street parking facilities to allow parking space in a portion of the front setback, or 155.100, required accessory off-street parking spaces, eating and drinking establishments, to allow 6 accessory off-street parking spaces. The Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval of the requested variances of Section 155.061, 155.064, and 155.114B. 115.100 is unnecessary if 115.114B is approved. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is concur with the Regional Planning Staff recommendation. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation, which concurred with the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation, right, Alderwoman?
That's correct.
Okay. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-008 for the property located at 2804 North Dirksen Parkway. The petitioners are Springfield Farm Supply Co., Inc. Present zoning classification is I-1 Light Industrial District, Section 155.040. The requested zoning relief is a variance of Section 155.098, required accessory off-street parking spaces, retail or service establishments not otherwise covered, to allow 1 space for every 290 square feet of floor area. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is concur with the Regional Planning Staff recommendation for approval. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendations.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation for approval. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-009 for the property located at 1401 South Dirksen Parkway. The petitioners are RTD MC2 LLC and Spring Lucius Community LLC. Present zoning classification is B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033. The requested zoning relief is a conditional permitted use pursuant to Sections 155.033C14. Conditional permitted uses in the B1 Highway Business Service District, Adult Use Cannabis Dispensing Organization, 155.2117, Adult Use Cannabis Dispensing Organization, and 155.492, Conditional Permitted Use, to allow the use of the property as an adult use cannabis dispensing organization. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval to concur with the Regional Planning Staff recommendation. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the Sangamon County Regional Planning recommendation.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the Springfield Sangamon Regional Planning Staff recommendation. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-010 for the property located at 2160 South 6th Street. The petitioner is Janine Minke. Present zoning classification is S2, Community Shopping and Office District, Section 155.031. The requested zoning relief is a variance of Section 155.095K, required accessory off-street parking spaces, community facilities, use commercial daycare center to allow a reduction of the required parking spaces to 0.245 spaces per 100 square feet of floor area, and that, 1, the number of off-street spaces required in Phase 1 and Phase 2 be reduced from 52 spaces to 14 spaces, and that 2, the same variance allowing 0.245 spaces per 100 square feet of floor area be applied to Phase 3. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the Regional Planning Staff recommendation. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the Planning and Zoning Committee recommendations.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2026-011 for the property located at 8 The Elms. Petitioners are Joseph and Margaret Kulik. The current status is R1 Single Family Residence District. The requested zoning relief is variance of an Appendix A, Section 3 setbacks of the land use plan for Lake Springfield to allow the construction of a covered patio, which will be approximately 1 foot off of the north property line, and allow the walkway surrounding the pool to be approximately 4 feet 6 inches, and a variance of Section 155.068B1, garage or accessory buildings or structures to allow the construction of a covered patio, which will be approximately 1 foot off of the north property line. The Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation, though, is approval of the petition as submitted. Chair will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to accept the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. This concludes the zoning portion of our meeting. The chair now recognizes Treasurer Redpath Fager for the presentation of the financial report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My treasurer's report for the corporate fund for the month of February. Beginning balance, $62,021,384. Total receipts, $14,823,263. Total disbursements, $13,810,165, which left the corporate ending fund balance in the month of February at $63,034,481. The ending general fund balance included $3,229,089, which is the February ending balance for the ARPA money. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Make a
Thank
motion
you,
to
Treasurer.
accept the treasurer's report as
We
submitted.
have a motion and a second to accept Treasurer Redpath Fager's report. Any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Chair also recognizes the comptroller for this city. It's like the director might be out, all this crazy illness that's going around that we're all catching. So does anyone have any questions for the OBM contract report for Mr. Ajizi? Seeing none, we will move on. The chair now entertains a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the March 3rd, 2026 regular city council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances into the record of this council meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda into the record of this council meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will now entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, your voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Yes.
And Alderman Williams votes yes. So the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Thank you, Alderman. Agenda items 2026-078 and 2026-103 remain tabled or in committee. The chair does entertain a motion to remove agenda item 2026-103 from the,
So moved.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to remove 2026-103 from the committee and put it on the debate agenda. Any discussion before we take a vote to put it on debate? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. So the next item on the agenda is 2026-103, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of high-voltage switchgears from ABB Inc., care of Premier Energy Products, formerly Rockman High Voltage Sales, in an amount not to exceed $316,424.22 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Motion to amend with proposed amendment number 1.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to amend this ordinance with amendment number 1, which is in front of you on your desk. Are there any discussion, we have a motion and a second for amendment. Any discussion on the amendment itself before we take a vote, just on the amendment? Alderman Williams, you look like you want to ask something,
No,
is
no,
that
I'm
right?
fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, so no discussion on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will now entertain a motion to put amendment, ordinance number, sorry, the cold medicine is kicking in. Ordinance number 2026-103 as amended on final passage.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to put on final passage. Any discussion on the ordinance itself from the alders? Seeing none, your voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
I voted yes.
And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. Thank you, Alderman. The next item on the agenda is item number 2026-115, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of Lenco G3 Pro Armored Vehicle for emergency response and SWAT operations from Lenco Industries, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $445,060 for the Springfield Police Department. The chair will now entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2026-115 on final passage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the alders on this ordinance?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Williams?
Yeah, I would like to know, is the chief here?
I thought I saw him. Yep, there he
okay.
is.
Chief, can you tell me real quick, when was the last time our current vehicle was used?
When was it used last? 2 Thursdays ago.
Excuse me. 2 Thursdays ago.
Yeah, about
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion, Alderman Williams?
That's it, Mayor.
Just hang out if you would, Chief, please. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
when the vehicle would not start, what was the problem?
Something to do with the batteries, battery terminals, rotted.
Okay. And for how many years, so you used to be in leadership on the team that uses
Yes,
this.
ma'am.
So would you be familiar with the budget around this item, like the budgeting for it? Like, how many years has this been on our budget as a purchase?
It's to buy a new one.
Yes.
This is the first time we've actually asked to purchase a new one outright. Well, the first Bearcat that we received was from ILEA's.
Okay. And then regarding, you guys did indeed make a specific written request to ILEAS for a grant opportunity for this vehicle, correct?
We didn't do a written request. ILEAS has their own grants. They submit the grants to the state and to the federal government, and then they buy the equipment and disperse that accordingly.
Okay, so the normal process that you would go through is to request the vehicle from them?
No, it's assigned to us. We are an extension of ILEAS
Okay,
as a Region 6 special response team.
gotcha. Okay,
It's a- it's a-
and, no, go.
Sorry, it's a
go ahead.
mutual aid team, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you for that. And so, so you're not able to request?
We've asked, and we've been denied.
Okay, okay. Okay. I think I just want to end with that I viewed the Bearcat. I understand the use for it. This isn't an easy decision for me, but this is, $500,000 is going to come out of our general fund, and our budgets are our priorities. And I am struggling with the decision right now to spend this money in this way. As you know, the economy is in flux, and our fund balance is in flux. So yes, this is not an easy decision.
Sure.
But I appreciate your help making it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Carlson?
Thank you, Mayor. And I know we've discussed this a couple weeks, and I appreciate my colleagues asking the budget concerns, because I, too, was concerned about that as well. I look at it more of an overall picture that, being the home of the state capitol, not only do we have our residents here that we need to be concerned about, but people from the outside. And I think of the legislature, 4 or 5 months a year, and, and all the people that they bring in, just from, staff. Obviously, there are demonstrations down there once in a while, but I just think people, when they come, they would expect at the capital city to have, to feel safe and really with no problem. So for that standpoint, I'm purposely good with the purchase. I think I asked last week whether there was any federal through Homeland Security, but you answered that.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, the state capitol, I think we need to look beyond once in a while, just, who we're trying to protect here and make sure everybody who comes here is safe and gets home safely, so. Thank you, Mayor.
Just to talk about the funding, there's 3 grants or 3 emergency passages coming up, and $600 and some thousand that we received from ILETSB on a grant that we're going to be receiving to kind of offset some of the costs that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. One more, Chief. Alderman Williams?
Yeah, well, you might have just answered it with that last statement. But did they say why on the denial?
No, they did not.
They don't tell you
No,
guys?
they only purchased so many Bearcats, and they don't have any more grant funding, and so they're not purchasing anymore because they don't have the funds coming in.
I mean, the life-saving measures and all the things that you guys pushed that justify this, they don't take that into consideration?
I don't know why they do what they do. I just know that the grant funds have been exhausted, and they don't have any more money to purchase any more Bearcats.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the alders? All right, seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor, thank you, Chief, by the way. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 7 voting yes, 2 voting no. The next item on the agenda is item 2026-145, an ordinance authorizing subrecipient agreement number 102601-2 with Solid Rock Youth Transitional Services and payment in the amount of $550,000 pursuant to ICEJA grant number 102601 from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 for the Springfield Police Department for emergency passage. All those in favor of the motion, could I please get a motion to put this on emergency passage?
So moved.
So I have a motion and a second to put this on emergency passage, which would be item 2026-145. Is there any discussion from the alders on this item? Any questions?
Just,
Alderwoman Conley? Yeah,
I
sorry, I
was just
didn't miss
wondering
that.
if, yeah, it's okay. I'm getting it too. I just wonder if we could have someone come and speak either from.
Chief Bill, would you like to come back?
Optimistic. I just want to make sure we get an understanding and just hear what this is funding and the services that this is providing.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Just kind of what sort of services this grant is providing, just a little bit of information. for
Yes,
the-
it comes out of our co-responder grant, and it's providing services to those youth, some that are coming out of foster care, some that are finding themselves moving out of the house at a young age, giving them life skills, giving them housing and resources to get them on their feet.
And we're working with Solid Rock?
Solid Rock, yes.
Okay, thank you. And they have a fair amount of experience with this?
Yes, they do an excellent job. Miss Marcia Anderson was going to be here this evening, but she's out of town. She could be here next week if needed.
Hopefully she's not, doesn't need to do that. Thank you very much,
sure.
Chief, appreciate it.
Yeah, and Alderwoman Conley, I can tell you the Mayor's Youth Council served dinner last Christmas to the residents of Solid Rock Youth Foundation, and they really enjoyed their interaction with the team
Yeah, I know
there.
we've seen good things that organization does. I just want to make sure we could hear a little bit more about it at the meeting, so thank you, Chief.
Yep. Any other discussion? Seeing none, excuse me. Voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
I'm a yes.
Alderman Williams, how do you vote?
Williams.
Okay, and the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is item 2026-146, an ordinance accepting and authorizing execution of the Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standards Board, ILETSB grant number 20262011 with Axon Enterprises for law enforcement cameras and authorizing a supplemental appropriation of grant funds in an amount not to exceed $643,704.50 for the Springfield Police Department for emergency passage.
So move.
Chair, thank you. The chair has a motion and a second to put this item on the consent, or on
Emergency
emergency passage, for 2026-146. Is there any discussion from the alders about this particular ordinance?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Cox.
Thank you. Chief, sorry, I'm gonna follow Alderwoman Conley's lead here. It's cameras, what are we paying for? Just so the public knows more than anything. It's not our money, really, it's grant money, but what is this gonna purchase?
It's going to offset some of the costs that we incur from body-worn cameras, not only just the cameras, but the storage of the data as well, which is the biggest cost.
You guys have vehicle cameras?
We do have some, yeah.
Same company?
Same company, Axon,
So it
correct.
might have something to do with that. What about the cameras on the posts that I see parked around with the lights that flash, in high traffic areas?
That's separate, that's separate from this.
Separate from this? Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor.
Alderwoman, stay there if you don't mind, Chief. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you. Chief, if you could, you mentioned offsetting some of the current costs. I noticed this is spread between 4 different fiscal years. Is that, how much exactly do you think this will offset a cost that we've already budgeted for
It's about
fiscal year?
yeah, it's about $160,000 per year for 4 years.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other
Thank you for getting the
discussion?
grants.
Yeah, any other discussion from the alders?
No.
All right, so this is on emergency passage. Voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is 2026-147, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a contractual agreement with the Family Guidance Center through the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, ICJA, grant number 102601, in the amount of $300,000 for the stabilization and transition services for the Springfield Police Department. This item is on emergency passage. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved, Mayor, for
Second.
emergency
We
passage.
have a motion and a second for emergency passage. Any discussion from the alders on this grant?
If we could, Mayor, if the chief could just come up and
Alderwoman
just-
Conley has a question for you,
Thank
Chief
you.
Beal. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for anticipating and staying up
Sure.
here. Again, I appreciate the department going after grants like this. Can you just explain a little bit who we'll be working with on this grant and the purpose and goals of it?
So one hole in our co-responder program is stabilizing somebody that is going through maybe some drug issues, some substance use disorder issues. So this provides beds, 5 beds minimum for 3 to 5 days until we can transition them to some definitive care.
And what kind of, is this like agreements with hotels or
No, it's with the Family Guidance Center on their property.
on their property? Okay. And this is a 1-year grant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you going after grants like this.
Any other discussion from the alders? Seeing none, this is on emergency passage. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. Is there any unfinished business to bring before the city council this evening? from the alders? None? All right, then we're going to go to new business. Is there any new business? I'm going to, if you don't mind 1 second. Number one, I want to just say to the Treasurer Redpath Fager, to Alderwoman Purchase, might have what I have, who knows? Alderwoman Notriano and Alderwoman Conley, as the other female elected officials, happy Women's History Month to each of you for
And to you.
Yeah,
here.
same to you.
Yes. And one of our speakers that was going to come tonight could not come, and that speaker did want me to go ahead and just point out that Wednesday, March 18th is Transit Drivers Appreciation Day. The speaker wanted to make sure that we thank our bus drivers for their hard work and their dedication for keeping the community moving, and so I promised the speaker that I would bring that up, that is on Wednesday. And I also want to thank everyone for coming tonight, so that Election Day is tomorrow. Don't forget to vote if you haven't already voted. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just briefly want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I know there's an election too, but March 17th is a good day. I hope, encourage everyone to wear your green so you don't get pinched. I will pinch you if I see you and you're not wearing green.
Wait, and I think there might be a birthday tomorrow. Now that you say that, I think there's a birthday tomorrow.
there
I
was-
think there's an alder person with a birthday tomorrow.
I know what you're talking about.
So maybe we should wish Alderman Cox a happy birthday on St. Patrick's.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Yeah, thank you, Alderwoman. You
Thank you, Mayor.
made me think of that. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Mayor. And I really hate to do this to you, Chief Beal, but,
Chief, apparently you're coming up.
but I have a question. Thank you. So a constituent reached out to me with some concern about an event that happened at Washington Middle School last week. Are you familiar?
I'm not familiar with that, no.
Okay. So it was an interaction with school resource officers and students related to a fight, I believe. And the complaint was that the officers were handling the young women in a fashion that disturbed onlookers, or at least a few onlookers. And so I just wanted to see, if that had come across your radar, or...
Yeah, well, not specifically, but any use of force that we have above normal handcuffing is reviewed by a supervisor, and it goes to the lieutenant's level. So anything that would stand out to us would be addressed.
Okay, yeah. If you would look into that and let me know, just allegations of moving the girls around roughly and picking them up by their arms when they're handcuffed behind their back. So yeah, if you could
Yep, I'll check into
let
it.
us know. Thank you.
Sure. You know what day it was?
Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Williams.
Yes, Chief. So Washington is in Ward 3, and I'll just say, if you get a time, find the video and look at some of those videos. I mean, I'm not the expert. I told a few folks who mentioned it to me that I do know the staff, and I do know the officers, that do that, and I just... I'm mixed emotions about it. Just review the video,
Yes,
if you
sir.
would, please.
We'll check
Thank
into
you.
it for sure.
Any other new business from the council members? Okay, seeing none, clerk, we will go to citizens who have signed up in advance to address the
Ken
council.
Pasha.
Yeah, send me yours, the one you got. I'll send you the one I got. Well, I'll tell you.
Kind of hard to believe I wore shorts here last week, right? Jesus.
Why we're all sick.
Yeah, no, right? Saw you got out in the parade, so that probably didn't help at all. So I will note with something like that was just talked about with like the Bearcat and things like that, or Bobcat, sorry. When we look into those kind of things, like I will quickly mention the incident at Washington. I don't know the pertinent details, but I've seen that exact conduct at, say, Juneteenth, if anybody remembers that. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing where, as I've talked about before, and I'm going to keep beating this drum, we have the ability, We have recommendations from a commission that spent a lot of time working on this stuff. Let's look. Establish countywide standards for in-person anti-racism, de-escalation, and crisis intervention training. Reoccurring, not they took this course 5-10 years ago. That's the kind of thing where when we talk about what can be done, we could also look into the idea of establishing an accountability, coordinated police accountability and transparency framework between the city of Springfield and Sangamon County. That framework would include adopting and funding several measures to establish a coordinated accountability and transparency framework for police misconduct review. I mean, again, and I've talked about this, I don't think that if you're the one in charge of things, that you should be the one reviewing yourself. That is a biased viewpoint. We looked into ourselves, and guess what? We didn't do anything wrong, guys. And that's not an attack on what he just said. That's not to say the police are lying or that they're covering up for horrific misconduct. But the idea that it happens behind closed doors, that we have to trust the judgment or wait for the footage, instead of trusting in the idea that the community itself and established leaders have a voice in those outcomes and get to see the footage immediately, where the police chief's like, hey, this incident happened. Let's get ahead of this. Let's figure out what went wrong here. And again, it's simply the idea that, again, these practices have been established elsewhere, like ending qualified immunity. It's happened elsewhere. It can happen here. It could happen for the SPD. It could happen for county. These are the kind of things that when we talk about what can be done about making real changes, it's about following the lead of places that have looked into these issues. It's not like the Massey Commission whole cloth originated these recommendations out of thin air simply because they heard a few people talk. I mean, these are other cities, other locales, other police departments that have agreed to these standards and these expectations and the accountability that comes with being the one that enforces life or death upon the civilians in the city. Those are hardier decisions than anyone here will make, including myself, by far. And at the very least, they should welcome that kind of oversight to prevent the idea of malfeasance or favoritism or allowance or abuse. That's what happens when you have accountability and oversight by someone that's outside of your organization. I think we all know that if you're the one getting paid by the group who you're supposed to be holding culpable, how well is that going to go for you if you go too hard on them? Your contract going to get renewed? You think that doesn't influence people's decision making? Maybe the confluence of being in close contact with them constantly? That doesn't create a level of favoritism that we do see in practice? It's just frustrating because we give them more tools than ever. You asked about those other cameras, Alderman Cox. Those are flock cameras. And I'm not trying to sound rude, but those take the make, the model, the license plate number. I mean, that is a huge database, which, by the way, people have been illegally violating to try and track people down for having abortions. I mean, doesn't that seem a little overwrought for information that's supposed to be kept private? I mean, that's what Flock is out there doing with our information collected by these cameras here in the state of Illinois. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, I will let you know that Alexi Giannoulis has been working against that. So, I mean, it's that level of concern within this state. It's not just a few protesters getting upset. This is something where it's reached a level where it is of deep concern to people that this kind of information is being given to immigration authorities and other states to help prosecute civilians for executing legal actions in other states. I mean, that's the kind of overreach we should be deeply worried about. And more oversight and more authority outside of those organizations should be the bigger concern. I mean, again, the CTAs are here. These are from bigger sources than just the Massey Commission. They're just trying to bring it all into one place so we can look at this and figure out what's going to work best for this community and the people within it and for the police. Again, none of this is to disempower them. It's to allow for greater resources and allowance that remove a lot of the culpability that they're forced to have. It's just a thought and consideration.
Thank you.
Stephen Simpson Black. Justin Courtney.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening.
Sorry, I'm very nervous, so I hope I can get through everything. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So my name is Justin Courtney. I grew up here in New Berlin, Illinois, and I've lived in Springfield and Sangamon County for most of my life. I currently live in Ward 9, or at least I think I do, because I still can't fully read the map online because most of the colors are basically the same. I had a whole polished speech planned for tonight with like Legally Blonde references, and just because I really feel like dismissed like Elle Woods does a lot. And I had like a whole outfit planned that I had to completely swap out at the last minute because I got a cold and allergies, and I just couldn't make it to the store in time. But I'm here because this really matters to me, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on what I've been doing and then why I had to change everything at the last minute. So I've been doing outreach with downtown business owners and their staff because I care deeply about downtown Springfield, and I don't want to see more businesses shut down. I'm working on ideas like an internship program that will hopefully be a collaboration with UIS and Lincoln Land, as well as downtown business owners, that will eventually provide a pathway to business ownership for students, as well as fill up some of the empty storefronts downtown. I'm also hoping to put together a passport-style program to drive traffic to local businesses and events downtown. But tonight I had to shift gears because something more urgent has come to my attention. The Phoenix Center, our local LGBTQ community and resource center, is at risk of permanently closing. The Phoenix Center has been a major resource in the community for years. It serves LGBTQ people, people living with HIV, and many others in our area. And honestly, it serves a lot of straight people too. They, as far as I know, do not ask what your sexual orientation is when you come in for services. I have personally benefited from the services at the Phoenix Center, and I attended the youth group there many, many, many years ago. Because of past leadership and funding problems, the entire organization is now at risk. If it closes, Springfield loses one of the only organizations in the area providing these type of services. The closest places now or then would be Peoria or St. Louis, in order for LGBTQ people, HIV positive people, and just the community at large to benefit from those services. And those services should exist here in the capital city of Illinois. This is an emergency. They need help now, not in 3 years, not after another study, or after everyone shrugs and says they'll look into it. I'm not affiliated with the Phoenix Center. I'm not affiliated with any of the downtown businesses that I've been trying to help either. I'm a private citizen doing this in my spare time, and I've spent the weekend reaching out to private funders and organizations because I refuse to sit quietly while this community resource disappears. I don't know exactly what this council can do yet, but, excuse me, but I know doing nothing is unacceptable. So before my time is up, I would like to ask for a show of hands from anyone on this council who is willing to work with me and or the Phoenix Center to help keep them open, and I would write down your names and contact you tomorrow. Can I get a show of hands?
Sir, I think you can probably send an email.
Send to everybody.
Mr. Courtney, Council Coordinator Griffin is back here, and he's the council coordinator for the council itself, and he can forward it to all, because I don't think you're going to find any members that are going to disagree with you.
Okay. Well, I would love to figure this out. I know that they are at a critical funding impasse right now. Their state grant funding has been temporarily frozen or something. I don't know the exact details. But I know that they're also, I think, a 14-bed shelter for homeless individuals, I believe, living with HIV, but I'm not 100% sure. And if they do not find a funding resource by, I believe it's either May or June, they will have to spend the remainder of their resources on rehousing, finding those people another place to stay. But I can definitely leave my information, and I'd love to work with anyone.
Yeah, we'll make sure that Council Coordinator Griffin gets it, and then he can share it with all of us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
That's all we have. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of letting Jeff Cox go celebrate his birthday early, say aye.
Here, here.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.